So, building trust on your sales calls comes down to these two principles. I know a lot of people hear that you need to have the prospect trust you in order to obviously point them in the right direction, provide solutions, give suggestions that get them to where they want to go. But how do we actually do that? How do we get on a call with usually a complete stranger? Maybe they saw some marketing and have a little bit of trust in the company, but how do we get that person to actually trust us as the sales rep, as the advisor, as the closer on that sales call? Comes down to these two kind of things that have other bullet points within them. So the first thing is, well, actually no, let me start with this first. The three beliefs of trust, right? There's three things that the prospect needs to believe to actually trust the solutions you give them. And one is a very, very common one. The first one is they believe that you actually care about them. Easy one. We all know that. We all know that if someone comes across like they couldn't care less about us, then we probably just won't trust them when they say, hey, you should do this. This is what's good for you. I believe this will work for you. If you get a vibe that this person is only self-serving and they're only going after their own interests, you're not going to take that advice, or at least you'll take that advice with heavy, heavy amounts of salt, not just a grain, an entire cup worth, right? So, first belief is that they need to think or believe or see, because you should care about them, right? They need to understand that you actually care about helping them not just buy the service, but make the best possible decision, no matter what that is. Sometimes it's going to be not to move forward now. Sometimes it's going to be to move forward now, and they need to overcome something, whether it's fear or whatever is in the way of them moving forward. You're there because, and you're only helping them overcome these things because you care about helping people, helping them get results. So that's the first one in the three beliefs. The second belief they need to have is that you are an authority on the topic, right? The subject matter that you are selling. So if I'm selling marketing coaching, or if I'm a marketing agency owner, they need to see me as an authority on marketing. They need to say, okay, this guy knows marketing, this guy understands marketing. And in another video, we'll probably go through like how to portray these things, but this is what they need to understand. You know, if you're selling a fitness offer, they need to see you as an authority on fitness. You can't be overweight, right? You got to look like, okay, this guy understands fitness, this girl understands fitness. Same thing if you're selling a dating relationship, they've got to see you as an authority. And it's some of that is going to be done. The heavy lifting of that will be done like on the marketing side of things, depending on whether you're doing cold outreach or outbound, or whether it's inbound. Some of that might be done on the social presence of the company you work for. Some of that's going to be done on the advertising. But if they get on the call and you don't have the same presence, like you could have great marketing, your company could be crushing it, great social presence, they got a YouTube channel, all this stuff. But then if they get on the call with you as a sales rep and you don't seem like someone who's congruent with the stuff they saw, let's say usually you've got like an influencer. Obviously, if they got on with that influencer, they're already coming in with that trust that they're the authority. That's why they booked the call. But if they say, hey, this influencer is the authority, then they get on with the sales guy and they're like, oh, this guy or girl is not the same. They don't have the same authority. I don't see it in them. Then obviously they won't have that. But cool. We have those two things. One, they believe that you care. Two, they believe that you're an authority. And three, the third piece that you need is they believe that you have an understanding of their situation, a full understanding of where they're at, where they're trying to go, their whole story, the pain that they're in, the cost of it, everything, right? Without all three of these things in place, they won't trust your pitch. They won't trust the solution that you provide for them, your diagnosis, right? The reason why, I mean, you can look in your own life. If you've ever paid for mentorship, paid for a coach, bought a service of any kind, there's a reason why you didn't just go to people who understood you and and you knew that they cared about you, right? If you're buying marketing training, there's a reason why, you didn't ask your parents or your best friend for the training. Why? They care about you. They understand your situation, most likely, if you've opened up to them, but they're not an authority, right? Again, if someone is an authority, but you could tell they don't care about you and they don't understand what your situation actually is, you're not going to buy from them. You're not going to trust that solution. So you need all three of these things. I can give you the example from all the angles, but at the end of the day, it comes down to you need these three things. Okay, boom, that's out of the way, right? Now, another piece to the puzzle that builds massive trust. So that's kind of like the intangibles of like what I need. This is kind of a little bit of how we build some of this trust, which is the types of confidence that you need. So once you can get those two beliefs, like or those three beliefs, like you're gravy. But in order to get that, one very simple and easy way is to have these two different types of confidence on your call. One is confidence in the service you're providing, right? Conviction in what you're selling. You've probably heard this a million times. You need to believe what you're selling. You need to have a commit. 100%, you get that. One. But the second piece that's not often spoken about is confidence in the prospect facilitating the process, right? Because I can say, my training is the best, my service is the best, what I've got is the best, my platform is the best, Rep Select, where we help people land jobs, is the best in the market. But does that mean that I now have that same conviction in anyone utilizing this tool to get results? No, of course not, right? I can believe that I have the best service without believing that even a 5-year-old can get results with it, because it's not for them, right? I don't believe they'll get good results with it, even though I believe it's the best, right? So those are two different areas of confidence and conviction. So what a lot of salespeople do where they mess up on their sales calls is they jump on the call with the conviction that their service is, but then they also just start spewing this fake confidence that the prospect will get great results with it before they even understand the process, like the prospect and their situation or anything. And what that conveys is, you don't care about me and you don't understand me. It kills two of those three beliefs of trust that I spoke about. Because if you jump on the call, yes, you should be on the call convinced in what you're selling, but if you jump on the call already convinced that the prospect should do this and it is a great fit for them and they need to do this, before you even understand them and what's going on with them and what they want and what their pain is and their problems and struggles, before you even understand that, it's just BS. Because you couldn't possibly know that they should do this yet. So if you're just spewing out energy of like, yeah, this will be great for you, before you understand them, they're not going to believe that you actually care about them. Because how can you care about someone if you're trying to push something on them that you don't know if it is a good fit for them? I hope you're understanding me. So what do you do then? To build massive trust in your sales calls, you have to have those three beliefs. And a good way to build two of those beliefs, the care and the understanding piece, is when you kick off your calls, for the first 20, 30, 40 minutes, for the duration of your discovery. This is everything before transitioning into the pitch and the close and all that stuff. Everything before that needs to have I don't want to say no confidence that they should do this, but the confidence that you exude in them facilitating your process should build over time in the call. It shouldn't start on 10. If it starts on 10, it's fake. It's not real. You need to sell yourself throughout the duration of the call on them doing the process, not just have faith that everyone should do it. They should see that at the beginning, you're just curious. You're very, even almost skeptical in certain ways. You're very curious. Why are you here? Why is it this? Why not just do this? Why not stay where you are? What's the real effects here? What's the cost? Right? You're just curious, totally leaned out. confident in what you have, but curious and not putting any pressure on, I think you should do this yet. Let me learn about you first. Let me understand. Then as you start to understand more and more of their situation, they should see that confidence in them doing the thing rise. And that's where trust is built, because you didn't showcase, hey, I think you should do this. I believe you should do this. You should do this. You didn't showcase any of that energy until you had an understanding of them. And if they see you as an authority on the subject matter, and now they see that you have the full picture of their situation, and then and only then did you pressure on, not even pressure, but then and only then did you now exude the energy of, oh yeah, you should definitely do this. Not saying that's what you're going to say, but if that's the energy you're giving only after you have an understanding of them, now their thought process is, well, this guy understands the situation. This girl understands my situation, and they are an expert on marketing or fitness or relationships or whatever. They are an expert on this. And now that they understand my situation, now they just seem super confident in me doing this. There's got to be a reason for that. Because again, if you do this right at the beginning, they know you don't know anything about them, so they know it's fake. They know it's BS. So trust is gone. Poof. Okay, this guy's just a sales guy. Whatever. Just a sales guy. Yeah, you're supposed to act this way. But no, if you come on the call and you're just curious, just trying to learn, you're trying to understand. And then once you're in a place where, okay, I know a lot about your situation. I feel like I've got a good picture. You've asked them multiple times if there's anything left, if there's anything else. You've probed deep. You've gotten a deep connection in terms of understanding their problem, the cost of their problem, the duration of their problem, the frequency of the problem, the goal, everything. Now it's like, okay, now that I have this perspective, oh yeah, I am now confident that this is something you need to do if you want to actually get out of that situation and head towards the desired situation. And then that's where trust is built. Trust is killed if it's too early. It's exponentially built when it's after. And that's a huge, if you can learn that, it's huge. It's what every professional does. Doctors, lawyers, therapists, obviously there's nuance, but imagine, I say this all the time, imagine you walk into a doctor's office. You say, "Doc, my knee hurts." And instead of asking you questions, instead of doing a diagnosis, instead of putting you under the x-ray, the doc just immediately responds, say, "Hey, doc, my knee hurts." He goes, "Okay, take this pill." Maybe you take the pill, maybe you don't, but you would most likely be skeptical about the pill. Like, well, why did he just throw this pill at me? Okay. Scenario 2, go into the doctor's office. "Hey, doc, my knee hurts." Doctor goes, "Okay." Looks at, does some x-rays, does a bunch of tests, hits it with that little hammer. What's the pain on 1 to 10? Spends 30 minutes, an hour figuring out what's wrong, what's going on with this knee. What have you done? Are you running? Are you jogging? Are you squatting heavy? What is going on with this knee? And then, and only then, after the full hour of diagnosis, says, "You know what? I think you should take this pill." Which doctor will you believe? Which solution will you have more trust in? Would you take pill 1 where you said, "Doc, my knee hurts," and he said, "Sure, here's our knee fixing pill"? Or would you take the one where the doctor did diagnosis first, had a full understanding, didn't have any conviction in regards to what to do yet until he learned about it, and then gave you a pill? Most of you, if you're smart, will take the second doctor because of everything I said in this video. That's how you build trust. One way, there's other ways, but that is one foundational way to build trust on your sales calls. And I see it time and time again that a lot of you are missing closes because of this one principle. And if you can get this, it will make a massive difference in your sales call. You will hear over and over again, "I went with you because it seems like you care. I went with you because you actually took the time. I went with you because, you're authentic. You care about me." I hear it all the time. All the time. And it's because it's true. If I'm on with someone, I think it's my responsibility to point them in the best direction possible. And I can't do that if I don't know you and I don't know what's going on. Try that. And I guarantee if you're not doing this already, you will make more sales. You'll make more money. You'll help more people. And you'll solve more problems. I'm gonna leave it there for this video. Hopefully that helps. This is a very important one, so I hope you took the time. Well, if you're here hearing this, you did take the time to watch it all the way through. But this is an important one. If you want to be a great closer, if you want to not have to deal with mountains of objections, and you want the calls to just flow smoothly, and you want less resistance, and you want people to open up to you. And when you're doing open wall, it's about financial game plans and stuff, and you want people to actually tell you the truth of what they have financially to get this thing going. If you want all of these things, if you want the trust, this is part of what you need to do. And if you enjoyed this video, I'll make more going more in depth on this topic. But I'll leave it there. Have a good one.